welcome back to Adventure 82. As you've seen from the intro, we're at Green Island. The reason we're here is because the island's actual official name is Motte. And what we're here to look at is where once upon a time you had Stronghold Motte, which would have been part of the fortifications of the island. It's probably not one that's that well known, I'm guessing. I've actually found a rather interesting map that shows where all the different ones were, so I thought I'd show you this one. As I say, not many people are aware of it. So the idea was Erica is very kind enough to become a cameraman, but slowly swing round, you will see the Blazing Charlotte with us, and then you'll get to the coastline and you'll see the car park. All along that car park beach wall there, that was Motte A, and then you had Stronghold Motte Part B, which is where you see the little hut there by the trees. That's where that used to be. So we're going to have a walk along there. I'll tell you a little information about what was here, and we'll see what we can find, and maybe even have a look at what happened with the Loch gunpoint, because there was one there too. All this and a few other places were all controlled by one central point on this side of the island, but I'll explain more about that once we get back over to that side. And yeah, meanwhile I've got to hike back across that. Things I do for intros. Right, I bought a random mod from a GoPro, so I'm going to be testing this. So if there's some wind noise, it's because I have no idea how this microphone performs. I've been told it's much better than the built-in one, but I won't know until the edit. If not, it's got little slots on the side, so I can use the same one I'm using on the camera that Erica's using right now. But Erica's going to be trying to use that camera for photos and B-roll because she gets salty with hers. So yeah, if there is a little bit of wind noise, it's because it's a slight trial and error situation. But at least Charlotte hasn't got hold of it this time, which, if you watched the video last week, means I won't end up with a dead battery. So with that in mind, back to the beach wall. Right, so Green Island, a favourite among fishermen, and has actually still got, if I turn around, as you can see behind me now, its original pier. Not sure when that was built, but they don't build them like that anymore, and it looks a bit older than the slipway, so I'm going to guess it's a while ago. Nice piece of history there though. The beach wall, on the other hand, that would have all been lined with had two light machine guns, 40cm searchlight, and a 5cm anti-tank gun. And the men who were here placed at Motte both A and B, that's just for A, those guns, were on orders to shoot on sight anybody that came across the St Clement's Bay area, which is over there behind me. And to stop any kind of attack coming in from the south, because their fear was that we might get attacked from the south by the Allies from the direction of France. So let's go have a look. I don't think there's really anything left of A, to be honest, and there's nothing really to show you what the layout would have been, but we'll take a look and then I'll show you where B is, and yeah, we'll go from there. But this not classed as an actual stronghold. This was classed, it was part of a strong, the two together were classed as stronghold. Individually they were known as resistance nests, because they were here to resist attack. Right, so up at the beach wall, you see the concrete section on the top there. I'm going to assume that was put in by the Germans because they concreted most things. The gun point placements as far as I'm aware, they're now buried underneath the car park. But along here, you would have had one roughly on the corner there, which would have been your anti-tank gun. And you would have had placed along here 2 machine guns, light machine guns. And you would have had your searchlight, and I would imagine that would have had a housing, a lot of them did, and it would have been run out on rails. And over here was Motte B, which also contained the bunker where the people who were manning A would have lived. And then there's hearsay as to whether or not there would have been a man placed out here on the actual island to keep a lookout. If he had have been placed out on the island, or they were placing people out on the island, that must have been as lonely as hell. Especially once the sea was up, I can't imagine, especially in the winter months when we have our much rougher tides, that would be a nice place to be. Right, so after filming this, I found a website called Military Tours of Jersey. They had lots of information about various parts of the war, but what I found was that the searchlight for Motte was indeed housed within that little sun house there. You could see at the end of the car park. I also found that there's a carving in there in German, and the German translates into, as you'll see on the screen now, in this place I often think of home, and I think that's something that probably gets forgotten more than it should have done, is the fact that the Germans didn't want to be here and invading any more than people wanted to be invaded. But anyway, back to the other videos. Right, so as we walk up to where B would have been placed, this was a much bigger operation, B. So A, which we just looked at, that had 2 NCOs and 7 other ranks manning it at all times. B had an officer, 3 NCOs and 20 plus ranks manning it at all times. Right, so I'm just looking at this wall, the red one, which the rest is beach reinforcement for the wall. We'll ignore that, we're not here to see that. But the red wall, now that looks like obviously it's been painted at some point, but more importantly to me, it looks like that kind of German layering you get from a concrete wall. So I'm wondering whether that wall was part of the Stronghold Motte, because it goes all the way along here, all the way down there. So I reckon there's a good chance that that red wall is part of Strongpoint Motte. But right, we'll keep having a nose. Right, so I'm not sure how much wind noise we're getting because it's quite windy up here. But you can see here, there's a concrete structure over there with a flag on it. That would have been part of Strongpoint Motte, pardon me. And it came all the way around here to where the hut is there, just behind that hut. So as I show you some of the coastline, I thought this would be a good time to edit in the fact that I didn't actually tell you what guns were in Motte Point B. So you had 1 light machine gun, you had 1 heavy machine gun, 1 French 11 machine gun mounted. You also had a Renault FT-17 tank turret, 2 10.5cm French guns, and 2 searchlights, a 40cm and a 60cm searchlight. So yeah, you can see when I was telling you earlier on in the video about the personnel placed at A and B, why there was so many extra personnel placed at B to what there was at A. And as I was saying, yes, so these two, A and B together, made Strongpoint Motte. They worked together with Action Point Le Hoc, which is what we're going to look at next. I'll also take this time to apologise for some of the wonky filming. I didn't realise I got back in the edit. But anyway, back to me as it is about 3 days ago. Stone in. Why am I walking towards the camera for? Why am I walking? Why? don't know if it's got anything to do with Strongpoint Motte. I think it may do, but we've got concrete here, and it's the kind of concrete the Germans made when they were near the coast, because they didn't always haul a load of normal concrete if they didn't need to. They would use the stones because they're really strong anyway, and use those to reinforce everything. And if we come down here, so you got some old stairs here. They go up to what's now a house, but you can see here there's a concrete wall, and that seems to go all the way along here. So I'm wondering if that's remnants of what used to be part of the Motte action point. It was an action point which basically meant that it wasn't manned. Like when you go over here, and you can see the remnants there, like the tower, now we're on this side, of Strongpoint Motte. They were manned just like the other ones we've done, Derflinger, Lothringen, etc. These were all manned 24/7, 365 days a year. There was always someone there. This one, because it's an action point, that means it wasn't manned all the time. What that means is that in actual fact it was only manned really either for a drill, and the only other time it would have been manned is if they actually thought they were under attack. And despite the fact there was never actually any effort to take Jersey back from the Allies, back by the Allies, sorry, there was quite a few times that the alert was actually sounded and they were put on high alert, and it would have been manned. But then when they realised nothing was happening, that would have then been abandoned again. It would have been left empty and they would have gone back. I'm guessing with the amount of men they had, like Strongpoint Motte B over there, I'm guessing they would have come from there, they would have gone back. Another curiosity about Motte, I'm not sure whether it's German or not though, is this wall. I haven't been down to Motte, I have to stress this. I haven't been down this particular end of the beach since I was about 7, 8 maybe. And I'm 40 now, so that's a while ago. But this doesn't look like an original wall. Not an original beach wall. So I'm guessing this may well have been a defence wall. If you look at that beach wall there, it goes all the way around really neatly and then it stops and it kind of goes along here. But then here you don't have that. So I don't know if this is an original beach wall, or I'm not sure it is because of the concrete on the bottom, or whether it's German. But let's see what's on the other side. Right, so there's a little rounded area there. This is all very interesting. I've not seen any of this before. This looks like remnants of German. You can see where the posts are. That would have had the barbed wire on it to keep you off. I don't know if you can look at this or not. I'll have a look. There's a sign on one of the metal bars over there. Right, so on top of the wall now, it looks like there used to be signs on these metal bits, on certain ones. These are very rusty. I'm guessing these may well have actually been German, maybe for barbed wire. Although I'm pretty sure if Paul or Shane are watching this, they'll correct me if I'm wrong. But that seems like the kind of thing the Germans would do to make sure you can't get onto the beach, because there's no way really of manning this bit. In case you're wondering why I'm walking up and down along the wall, it's because I have a suspicion that, pardon me, the grass might be private property. So I don't obviously want to disrespect anybody's land, but so if this is private property, I'm obviously not allowed to walk on it. If you know anybody who lives in these houses and it is private property, do let me know. But as far as I can see, it's not. There is a sign on the tree over there, but it's very worn, and I can't really tell what it says. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. The perils of being short-sighted. No, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll probably see that in the edits. But from what I can make out of that sign, I think it says keep out. So I'm probably on the right side of things here, being on the wall. Unless the wall's their property, but I wouldn't have thought so. But what I'm interested in is not trespassing or causing anybody any grief, but how this all goes along here, and then you have a little curved cubby hole here. That's clearly been there a while. Was that part of a house, or? I mean, this goes off this way. It looks like once upon a time it went that way and then up there, so I have no idea where kind of the property starts and stops, but this looks very old. It's quite interesting actually. I didn't think I'd find anything quite like this along Loch. But it's interesting to document. Whoever's property this is, it's clearly not really used anymore, whatever it is. But an interesting find. Right, let's see if there's any remnants of what we actually came here for, which is the action point for Loch, which is actually over nearer the tower, and we'll go from there. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and get off this wall. Right, if you ever watched my videos on the Lost Hotels, you'll be familiar with the Shakespeare Hotel. It's one of the first ones I did of the Lost Hotels. Those blue gates there, that's where the visitors used to have a private entrance to come down and go onto the beach. They clearly haven't been opened in a long time. But yeah, the visitors used to come down there and onto the beach. There would have been just over there, see, you can see along there, there's some stairs. I don't know if they had their own private stairs here as well, but that was the way that the people from the Shakespeare got to the beach. There's something you don't see unless you come down here. Right, so this wall is definitely unmistakably German. I can't speak for the one on the end. I can't make up my mind whether that's German or not. It's clearly had something fixed on it. You can see by the metal bracket kind of thing there. But whether that was German, whether maybe that's where the original wall stopped and for safety reasons or something, someone put that there after they left, I'm not sure. Don't think that's original German. But I'm pretty sure this section of beach wall is. You can see how they've built it on top of the original wall. You can see where the original beach wall was because it's granite, and then you can see where they built their own on top, and you can see how it would have interlinked. It looks very similar as well to the German, what we know is the German wall along the front, and there's another big chunk of it here. So I'm going to guess part of Loch's action post would have been here, because that looks quite a big platform. I would imagine That's private property, so I can't go look, unfortunately. But I would imagine they probably would have had guns, at least one gun mounted up there. But that's unmistakably German. But I think that's about all we're going to find for now. We'll keep having a look. We'll go down as far as the tower, and that'll be it for here. And then we'll see if we can pick up our German coast defence hunt. Maybe the next video might be the one afterwards, because I've got a special video planned, but we'll see.
Daddy.
Right, so that's it from us for this one, with Lahock Tower behind us. There's nothing else German left along here. If you do want a video on Lahock Tower, let me know. But for me and Charlotte, we'll see you in the next one. Well, I will. It depends if she's at school.
Hi.
But what do they need to do, Charlotte?
Subscribe, like and comment.
See, she's got it down to a T, this girl. All right, and we'll see you soon.
Notification as well.
Yes, okay. You can move now, it's fine, because I can cut the end off.